Hey everybody, I promised to smile more this week, so I thought I'd get off to a good start. It is 1 week away from spring break. That has me pretty excited. I bet for some of you it's a mixture of excitement and trepidation as this assignment continues to loom over you, but I hope this little video can help you with some of the process elements and just give you some reassurance that you're probably all on the right track. I just want to try to make 3 points. The first one is about the process and about groups. I've been trying to encourage you to use social media as part of your process here. I'm not sure that that's been particularly successful, although I'd be happy to hear that it has been. I saw Lida was able to collect some data with her survey that surprised her. But my point for this week is week 9, that we're trying to sprint to the finish line here. In the software world, the sprint is just a known part of the process. As you get close to a deadline, you need to really apply and extend your hours and focus on the project. And so in writing studies, we tend to think of that as bad writing, as writing can't be rushed, but hey, it's a reality. I think most of us write that way. A deadline looms and we give it our full attention and we focus on it, and so that's what we're doing this week. In terms of social media, what I would suggest you do is just try to work with or reach out to 2 or 3 people in the class whom you know from other classes and you're pretty confident will be supportive to you and give you good feedback, and set up a schedule with them. Check in with them Wednesday, Friday, and maybe one last time on Sunday night when this thing is due. You're certainly welcome to wrap it up before then, but think about sprinting with a small team who can help you get to that finish line. And don't beat yourselves up about where you're at right now or how it's going, but accept that that is part of the process. Part 2 is closely related. One of the potential barriers in terms of what's been going on this week is writing in Google Docs. I can go to John, first one up here, and you can see that it's there. It's not a very social looking document. He's got a place for comments, but nobody has provided any. I hope somebody has emailed him some. Lida did hers, and she included sort of a little note here. Here's how to use the comments. So this is a good example of what I call side shadowing. In many ways, she's kind of primed you to give her some feedback, but even that said, it hasn't been up too long, but no feedback there yet. So it does make me wonder if my request that you work in Google Docs is inhibiting in some way, and I don't want it to get in the way. One other comment along these lines came from Alyssa, who was talking about some frustrations with Google Docs. And so that made me respond in this way, saying that if it would be more comfortable to work on a WordPress page, to come in here, and that's one of the things that we haven't done very much, is pages. You can see that what we're working on is posts and categories and things like that. But if you go back to my setup, all of these assignments up here and all of these documents are pages. And if it would be more comfortable to you, one less tool to deal with. I know a lot of you are already up and running on Google Docs, and so you're probably going, why is he giving us this option now? But there it is. If you want that option, if you want to work through a page, sorry, let's keep them up here, through a page rather than a Google Doc, if that would help you, go ahead and do that. You can even switch out of your Google Doc if that would work for you. And that's clearly part of the course and part of the challenges, is just figuring out how you work in these different environments and with these different tools. I just wrapped up an essay I was working on with Dr. Miriam Mara, who some of you might know, and we did it all on a Google Doc, and it worked beautifully. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe Google Doc makes sense when you're collaborating, and maybe it doesn't make sense when it's you working on an individual chapter. I'd be happy to hear some reflections on that. So that's point 2, work in the space that makes sense for you. If working on, I would say if working and hiding and sharing your, not sharing your work is your preferred mode, I will challenge you to step out of that a little bit and post somewhere online as you're going along, because I think that's in keeping with the class. But other than that, you're wide open. You can come and do it on your blog, or you can do it in Google Doc or some other option. The final point I wanted to make is just to remind you of the memo assignment, and so I'm switching over to Word here, and I asked John, who was the first person to send me his memo, if I could share it with all of you, and I will send it out as an attachment as well, because I know the reports are that these small texts are too hard to read in ScreenFlow. But I just wanted to show you in general the sorts of things that John was doing here that worked pretty well. He accounted for his work. What I really liked and what was helpful to me is that he went into some detail about a couple of posts that he's put a lot of time and effort into. That's always really hard for me to see as the reader of that. Somebody could hammer something out quickly, other people could spend hours and hours producing roughly the same amount of text. He did a couple of things that I am asking you to do over here on the right hand side. It shows how many posts, talks about 85 comments, which is a good certainly a good sign of activity on there. He gives me the stats, which shows some good active days and some quiet days in between. He talks about putting Levinson to good use. And so this is your chance to make your argument for your performance so far. It would be pretty daunting for me to go back and try to count up posts and things like that. I guess if everybody was good at posting and always referring back to their blog, I could at least have that. But the other things, you know, the Twitters, I'm certainly not counting, and I don't want to go back and count your tweets, your YouTube videos, things like that. So I'm counting on you, and I'm trusting you to give me an honest self-assessment of the work that you've done so far. So if you can do those three things, if you can sprint to the finish line this week, if you can, and do that with a small team helping you get there, if you can find the space that works best for you as a writer, I think that will be a useful thing to figure out this week. And if you can send me that memo before the week's out, that would be great. I'll try to get those graded and back to you before this week, and then when you turn in your essay at the end of the week on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whenever you get it done, I'll try to get that back to you before spring break comes, is wrapped up. I would like it online somewhere. Let me just add this one other thing, because I am, back to here, as you can see here, building kind of a table of contents. These are all linking out to Google Docs right now, but they could just as easily link out to a WordPress page or to some other format. So consider this the draft of our table of contents, and I'll probably do some reorganizing, although I happen to get the music ones together here, Spotify and the musicians, but I'll probably do a little bit of reorganizing so that it really does look like a book, a sequel to or an alternative to Paul Levinson's new media. Well, I think I smiled at the beginning, and hopefully I smiled at the end. I tried to get a little I probably need to loosen up too. That would probably help me a little bit get through these things. So I'll keep working on that. We'll see how things go for the second half of the semester. I've commissioned at least one guest lecture, so it's going to come from a professional who works in the nonprofit sector with social media. So that should be exciting to get me off the screen and get a professional in here. And but I'll stop there, and look forward to seeing some of you online or face-to-face. I know a few people want to drop in this week, and that would be great. Looking forward to seeing you again in the medium and format that works for you. Have a good week.